Hello. Welcome today to this episode. I'm super excited with this topic. It's one that's near and dear to my heart. We're talking about emotions versus logic and strictly how those things apply to sales and salesmanship and selling in general. It's a topic that's near and dear to my heart. A couple of reasons. Number one, really, is that nothing happens till a sale is made. And number two, it's really the place that people I've experienced have the most amount of fear, trepidation, doubt about themselves, and where people really struggle to find traction and connect the dots. And for me, it's really simple. I never actually feel like I'm selling anything. What I always do is, you step into it with integrity and you don't feel like you're selling because you're not selling. I'm trying to help people connect with solutions that make their life better. So I'm helping them to simply make the best buying decision with their money. And people say that people buy from people they like. And so we all try to be amicable, personable, likable, and all those things are important. You can't be a dry wooden robot. But I don't think it's true. For me, I don't believe that people buy from people they like. I think people buy from people they trust. And if I can trust you to help me make the best buying decision with my money, boy, I don't like you. I love you. You're an integral part of my family. Even you are the quintus what is it? You're my guy. You're my go-to person, right? So even if one of my friends has an issue, be like, oh, you got to call my guy or you got to call my girl. She'll really take good care of you. She's great. She knows her stuff. All of these things, and that happens because you help me to make the best buying decision with my money. So let's examine this. Very short today, very simple, but really powerful stuff. So first thing to understand emotion versus logic is that let's grasp that a sale is an event, not a process. These aren't my words. This is an old ancient concept, but it really is the truth. If you think about, even an impulse buy, if you're at the line up at the grocery store and you're surrounded on both sides by all of these packs of gum and all this other stuff. But you might think, oh, wow, last time I was in my wife's car, I noticed that she buys these tubular containers of the specific gum that she likes, was almost empty. So maybe I want to replace that for her. Boom, I put one on the conveyor belt and then I just spent $7. But first I had to process the event. So the other thing to understand is that we've never bought anything that you didn't want or need. And think about it. Whatever you've paid for, you either wanted to pay for it or you needed to pay for it. And wants and needs are emotional states. So this is how we know and understand that emotion is what gets the deal done. All sales are an emotional process. They're an emotional release. If you've done your job right, you could get to the release part. But it really is a catharsis that you're trying to get people toward. And that catharsis just happens when you put the right person with the right solution and help them to see it. It's as simple as that. There really is not much else to it to figure out. So emotion then, the emotion versus logic part, the thing to understand is that emotion prompts logic, and in turn, logic validates the emotion. So emotion prompts logic because you'll either first want something or you'll need something. And then you entertain a logical process of what that thing is. So if we go back to understanding the wants versus needs thing, we could start to give ourselves some kind of examples to illustrate this playing in action, and you'll see that it's really universal and everybody goes through it. And the thing that I would add here is that helps my clients to lose the fear of sales is that everybody is looking to be led. I don't care who you are and what level you're at. You are always going to look for someone who is more knowledgeable than you, more expert than you in the specific thing. It doesn't matter if you're the richest man alive, prince or pauper, it doesn't matter. Everybody is looking to be led, and we're all going to rely on the expertise of one or another person in order to, again, help us to obey our own human nature and avoid buyer's remorse. In other words, we all want to protect our money. We don't want to look foolish. We don't want to feel stupid. And we just don't want to make a bad move. We don't want to make the wrong decision. So we're going to look for help. And so the thing to grasp, like, this really does work for anything. Let's try a couple, want a new Ferrari? Well, good luck with your wife. That's a tough sell. But I could say, listen, honey, I'm not buying the latest and the greatest, because in order for me to do that, I would have to have already have bought 8 Ferraris or whatever they make you go through in order to get to be allowed and have the ability to buy one. So honey, I'm actually buying an older Ferrari. Maybe it's the Magnum PI one that I grew up with, right? So for me, it's really nostalgic. And yes, it's still a lot of money and the maintenance is killer and all that. But babe, honestly, it's an investment, right? So my want, right, my emotion is, oh man, I really want that Ferrari. I love that show. I was born in 72, so Magnum PI was something that I did watch a lot when I was a kid. And I did love that car. And I love the scene where he peels off the grass and then plants it onto the asphalt. Oh, I wanted that so bad when I was a kid. So, but now I'm like, how am I going to dump 200 grand or however they go for on an old car? And what am I going to tell my wife? Well, babe, it's an investment. It's an investment for a couple of reasons. Number one, it's not going to be my daily driver. Something that's going to appreciate in value. And you know how well I take care of my things. So these cars just appreciating in value. So if I don't drive, the wheels off the thing, it's an investment. I'll make all of this money back and more. Number two, think of all the joy and feelings of accomplishment, what it'll do to my self-confidence, how it'll help me to increase my business, the energy it'll give me to work harder, to work a little better. Number three, I can join an old Ferrari group. All the guys, we go on like these little poker runs or whatever. I'll be meeting all these new rich people that I can now sell my services to and just expand my universe, my horizons. And so the truth is that this $200,000 Ferrari is actually going to make me $1 million. Is that the truth? I don't actually know. But this is my logic validating my emotion and coming back to it. How about a $40,000 watch? Babe, I don't actually hardly ever wear a watch, but I do have one. I have a Longines diver, and I just love it. But it was like, I don't even know, I think it was like $3,000. So $3,000 a lot for a watch. I'm not saying it's not, but it's not a $40,000 watch. It's definitely not a Breitling for 200 grand or something crazy if you get the Liberace edition. I think $250,000 they go for, or a Patek, it's crazy how much people pay for watches. But the truth about that watch is that you spent $40 to get to where you need to go on time. You actually don't even need it because everybody's got a phone now. But you can get yourself like a Timex or a Casio. It keeps time better than, much better than my $3,000 watch, and probably equally as good as a $200,000 watch. So you spend $40 to get to where you're going on time, but then you spend all of that extra money for something else, right? And of course we know what it is. It's status, it's how people perceive you, and you just come across as more competent, and more confident, and people equate confidence with competence. So there's absolutely a business case to be made for a $40,000 watch or a $200,000 watch. But it's again, logic validating emotion. The emotion you see, you're like, oh, I want it, right? I said a lot of these things to myself when I got the diver that I got, because, truth is I hardly even wear the damn thing, but hey, I said this watch is all stainless band. I can actually go in the ocean with it and it won't do anything. And that's true. And I have wore it in the ocean. We travel to Portugal and all over Europe actually a lot. I was born there, and it's what we like to do. So I got a watch. I can tell time on the beach. And so when I'm out there, I know how long I've been, which is not a thing that I've ever needed. How about if you bought the most expensive washing machine? Well, let's work that one through. The washing machine is actually a good one to sort of try to identify the difference between a want and a need, right? And they are important to know, especially when you want to be relating to your prospects, especially if it's not face-to-face sales, if it's a marketing tool, for example, or a hook that you're creating, or a report that you need to deliver. But the thing about it is this, is that a want feels and looks like this. Oh my God, I really want this thing. I'm so excited. A need is like, oh, I really don't want to spend money on that. So wants are exciting, needs are a drag, right? But you have to leverage both those things. You have to understand both of those emotional states of mind. And both of them are going to use logic to validate the emotion in order to come to a decision, a buying decision. So if we use the most expensive washing machine, let's look at it like this. Let's say that it's Friday night and you're really looking forward to the weekend, and you hear your wife screaming from down the hall. You run over, she's in the laundry room, and you say, "What's the matter, honey?" And well, your washing machine broke down. It spilled water all over the floor. It's a big mess. And she's kind of in a panic because tomorrow is a big day for your family. Let's say that your 16-year-old son has a big hockey tournament. There's going to be scouts there for the NHL. I don't know. And so your family really needs to clean his jersey and some of his gear so things don't stink and that kind of thing. Well, now your feeling is going to be, oh no, kill me now. I don't want to do this. I haven't bought a washing machine in 9 years. I know that when I go to the store, it's going to be all new tech at this point. And the guy's going to like wear me down with like, gear drive versus belt drive versus direct drive. I don't know. I'm making these things up. I have no idea about washing machines, but the point is that you don't buy them often, but we know that the technology is changing and things are flowing. So now I know that my Saturday morning is going to be going to the store and have to get a crash course on washing machines or something, and then I'm going to be dumping like a pile of money, and I don't want to do either of these things. I have my morning planned out. I was just going to chill. I'm growing some fun vegetables out in the yard, right? I was going to prune my fruit trees, right? And do things that are meaningful to me and are just my time, my unwind time. But all that's pooch now. I got to go and be a dad and a husband. So that's where I'm at. That's my emotional state. It's a very negative one that I'm in because it's a need to do, not a want to do. But I'm going to confront, I'm going to do it. So let's say this happens. Imagine now Saturday morning I wake up. This is kind of like off base here, and I wasn't going to talk about this, but let's say I wake up Saturday morning and I'm having my coffee and I'm reading the paper. And as I'm leafing through the paper, I get to, the 9th page, and I see a headline at the top, which if I saw yesterday, I wouldn't see it at all. But today I saw it, and it said something like, looking to buy a washing machine? Click here to see which ones work and which ones are guaranteed to break down in a year, jack your electricity bills, and shred your clothes. Question: are you going to click? Are you going to check this website? Answer: oh yeah, absolutely. Of course. So as you get there, so now you're gonna travel to your laptop or to your phone, and you're going to go check this thing out. That's what's up. So what happened there, and maybe it's, Ricardo's Washing Machine Emporium, I don't know. But what's happened is that I just short-circuited that whole drag in the morning, and now you can see what it is you need, and I am helping you to make the best buying decision with your money, right? And now 2 things will happen. One is that suddenly you trust me because I've showed you that I understand what you're going through. Because in that free report or on that webpage, there is, a selection or a qualification process whereby you see which there's going to be questions. What do you use it for? Are you a single guy in a tiny condo, or do you have a large family with kids who play sports in a big house, right? If you're the single guy in a tiny condo, then maybe you're going to look for, if space is really, really tight, you're going to look for one of those that does washing and drying together. You're only going to use it once a week anyway, and do a small load. Or is size not a concern for you, and or it is concerned, but in the inverse, and you want one that's really big that you could just throw stuff in and not worry. And then maybe there's a little blurb about, hey, you got kids who play hockey or play sports, need to clean bulky, clunky sports equipment? Well, check this one out. The drying machine comes with a rack. They just put the things in the middle, and they're not bouncing around and keeping you up at night. Kid can do laundry any time of night, and it's got steel gears to handle the weight and handle the load. I don't know. But now two things happen. The first thing is, you know exactly what you want. This dread that you had of the sales guy, because you know you're going to get sold, right? The sales guy is going to do his job if he's good, but let's be honest, how many of them actually are good? But they're going to grind you down. They're going to try to steer you towards, as we say in Portuguese, they're going to roll the coal towards their own sardine. Yeah, okay. So he's going to make the best move for him or her, right? And you know this. So we come in. That's why everybody hates salespeople. We're leery. We don't trust. But now you know the one you want. So now you're what we call a now buyer. You know the model, the make, and how much it should cost, right? So now you're going to shop price, right? Or you're not going to shop price, because a lot of people feel a level of gratitude and therefore reciprocity. And so now, Ricardo's Washing Machine Emporium or whatever, it might be 3 blocks further from your house than the other place, the place where you bought your last one. But the last one wasn't in the newspaper this morning. The last guy didn't take the time to understand the pressures and the just the bother of what you're going through. But Ricardo's Washing Emporium did. So now a great many people, I'm telling you, will drive an extra 3 blocks. And you know what else they'll do? They're not going to haggle on price. They're just going to pay your full pop. Whereas, not all, right? There are punters, as I've called them with everyone I've worked with in the past. The punters are always going to shop price, right? And they're going to call people and say, hey, do you carry, the XYZ in yellow? Yeah, how much? Okay, great, thanks, I'll get back to you. And then just shop around and force all your competitors in the race to the bottom, right? So we don't want those guys. So now, if you're that mom and dad with kids in sports, right, and you read the report and you're empowered with real, true information, you will buy the most expensive washing machine, and you will validate that emotion with the logic of knowing that, well, I'm not going to be here again because our washing machine was fine. It wasn't until my kids started playing AAA hockey or whatever, then all of a sudden the thing breaks, right? Because they're washing his hockey stuff all the time. So I'm going to get a more heavy-duty one, right? It costs more, right? But it's a good investment. I'm actually saving money in the long run. See, there I am validating my emotion with logic. How about a European vacation? That costs a lot of money. Honey, we can just go to Cuba or something. That's where our buddies go. But I don't ever want to go there because I can see my family. And I can get in touch with my roots. And you know what? It also really, really does. And it's true. It supercharges my battery. And when I come back after 3 weeks there, oh boy, I am good to go. I am unfazed, unbothered. And I've just had the time of my life. I'm inspired. I bought a couple of souvenirs, things that, and I brought back some ideas with me. I just love it. So I want it, and then I can validate the want emotion. So how do you find out? How do you do this? I'm going to go out on a limb and say, if you're watching this, you probably heard of Socratic dialogue. And it's literally the way that I train salespeople is this. Like, if you're talking, you're buying. All right? if you're listening, you're selling, right? I don't know who's the one that quoted, probably 1,000 years ago, somebody said, 2 ears, 1 mouth, that's the ratio. And it's totally correct, right? Because you're not learning anything from the prospect if you just keep blathering on, right? Of course, another saying that I love is, people ask for a glass of water and the sales guy just opens the fire hose. Bah. Don't do that. Find out what they want. How do you know? You got to ask, right? First thing to ascertain, is it a want or a need, right? If it's a need to have, kind of like be nice, man. Like they don't want to be spending this 2,000, 4,000, whatever it is, right? So understand that, right? Go, yeah. But let's try to mitigate that from happening again, right? So we're back to the washing machine guy. How's he mitigating it? Because he's just helping you get the one with the direct steel drive gears. I don't know, the shelf to dry the equipment also is not banging around and keeping you up at night because you know how kids are. All this kind of stuff. Now I'm like, yeah, man, I had to spend money, but it's not his fault my washing machine broke. But you know what? Yeah, I did buy the most expensive one in his store. And I feel good about it. And the next time I need one, I'm coming back here. So Socratic dialogue is about drilling down and asking questions about the specifics that the prospect has shared with you. That's how you're building that rapport. That's how you're building relevance in their life, right? So if they say, oh man, the damn washing machine busted last night, what could be Socratic about that? I'm like, okay. Oh, what? Any idea what caused it to bust? Right? Don't say any idea what caused that tragic failure, or just use the precise words. Take my word for it. There's lots and lots of research on this. Using the exact words. Don't improve their language. Use their language. We'll get them to open up. It's disarming somehow. But what caused it to bust? Then he'll tell you, oh man, I think it's my damn 16-year-old boy keeps putting his hockey equipment in the damn thing. It's been fine for a long time, and suddenly he got these new equipment, and he's washing it twice as often because now he's playing rep hockey and he's going off more often to practices. It's practice 5 nights a week, whatever. I think it was the damn kid that did it, the damn hockey equipment that did it. Well, now he said, yeah, now you can validate their emotion. Say, yeah, I totally understand that. I got boys too. I got 3 of them. They're, yeah, I understand. But now you can say, that's actually something that's happened to a lot of people in the past, and it's been happening for a few years. How long have you had yours? Right? There's a question, right? Oh, 9 years. Well, I got good news for you. In that time, a lot of people, there's been a lot of market research done by the manufacturing companies. And they now make, specifically for people in your situation, a set like that. So the washing machine is on rubber bushings, so it can move around and it can absorb a lot more impact. And the gears are like metal, or maybe it's like belt drive. So if anything ever lets go, it's just a $10 belt that you can replace yourself because they put a hatch on the back. And you can do it with 1 screwdriver, really easy. And then you can talk about the drying machine has a rack. So if you ever, as your kid, ever put anything drying at night and you're in your room sleeping and all you hear is clang, 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 and you get up a little bit upset and you're like, son, we've talked about this, okay? It's not fair. Dad needs his sleep. Dad works hard. Dad wakes up at 5:45. Come on now, right? All of that will get avoided. So suddenly, this new washing machine solves quite a few problems in your home. And not only that, imagine what a hero you're going to be when you come home and deliver this to your wife. It's 2 machines. You're going to get them delivered, but you're still the hero at home, right? And now your anxiety with your son has gone down. You're having less arguments because of nighttime, right? It's a pretty incredible thing. So shut up to sell. That's it.